Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 333 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, joined as always by my mainest man, Willie Saylor, coming at us from Easton, PA. To my left, Kyle Bradke, who's at the Oklahoma State-West Virginia football game.
How'd that go, Kyle?
Gary Busey dunked on he and his bride. Did you know Gary Busey went to Oklahoma State, Willie?
I didn't know Gary Busey went to Oklahoma State, and then Bader took a picture of him and Zach Esposito. I'm like, why is Gary Busey and Zach Esposito hanging out?
So he went there, and he was at the game. They, introduced him at one of the timeouts or whatever. And after the game, we're leaving. We're walking back to our car, and we're standing on the side of the street waiting to cross the road. And on the side street that was beside, I promise, Willie, the side street that was beside us, his car pulls up, and I mean, we could have reached out and touched the car. It was that close to us. And it turns right in front of us, and Gary Busey sticks his head out of the car, and he just screams, "Hey!" as the car was just driving by. And it was just it was me, Olivia, her sister, and her grandparents. It was just 5 people in West Virginia clothes, and he just stuck his head out and goes, "Hey!" And Olivia's screaming, "Gary Busey, you get back here!" There was this cop standing there, and he's like, "Was that Gary?" And we're like, "Yeah." And we're like, "Go arrest him." It was insane. So not only did we lose, but Gary Busey dunked on all of us.
Wow. And you're never going to get that back either. You can't redunk or undunk.
Why have you been leveraging Gary Busey all these years? Is my question.
I don't know. What are they even waiting for, honestly? Okay, so weird week, says Willie. So we had a classic Allentown snow delay that prevented Michigan-Lehigh from happening. Mike and I were there on location, slowly becoming Michigan men. Loved our time out there, thanks to Coach Bormet and company. They got a great thing going there. They're awesome dudes. But we were there for the match, and the match did not happen on Friday because Willie's area got out of control snow, and they could not leave.
It was wicked.
Yeah, it sounded like it was pretty bad. Pretty tough scene. But really enjoyed our time there. The match ultimately happened on Sunday. So, yeah.
How are the facilities?
Out of control.
Yeah.
It's so nice. Everything's pristine. And not only their practice facility, they have this Olympic weight room area that's right across the road from where they train. It's a great setup. They got a great thing going. Got to go to the big house, watch the game. Was exhilarating, like nothing I've ever been a part of. I haven't been to many big football games, so it was.
Did you see
awesome.
Robbie Howard?
Oh yeah. Robbie was there the whole time. You grumpy old man. He was wearing. He did do the. It's actually funny you mentioned the putting on the team. So all right, back up. So we're all on the same page. They do this thing now in wrestling and really in every sport.
They've been doing it in football and basketball for years.
So the kid goes on the visit. They give him the gear. They get their picture taken in the gear, and it's just a little thing, and the kids like it, right? Or they wouldn't do it. Well, so Robbie did this with the Michigan thing, and Willie didn't like it. But it's funny that you mention it because Sean was like, Coach Bormet was like, basically like McFarland would not like this. Like, this is not something. He's like, don't tell Joe we're doing stuff like this now. But it's just the reality. It's harmless fun.
Yeah. No, listen.
Let me clarify. He's gonna walk it back.
I don't.
Classic walk back.
Somebody said that I'm a grumpy old man. I tweeted, this is a bad trend. I don't like it. I would never do it. I would never have a kid do it. And first of all, let me apologize to Robbie and Kelly Howard because it makes the tweet. It sounded like I was at them. Kelly Howard, I love Kelly Howard. I love Robbie Howard. It's not a dig at them. It's been going on. Right? It's just one thing that I was like, okay, this is kind of enough for me. And if you don't subscribe to that theory, I don't blame you. Kids do it. Kids like it, I guess. And people tweeted at me, "Oh, you're a grumpy old man. Oh, get with the times." I'm not grumpy old man. I'm like far removed from grumpy old man. But this one, I don't know. I don't like. I liken it to like dapping up your opponent before the game. When LeBron goes and talks to CP3 before the game and chest bumps and whatever. I don't get down with that. And I don't like. I wouldn't want to ever wear a Michigan singlet if I end up going to Iowa, or an Iowa singlet if I end up going to Oklahoma State or something.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I disagree. But, like, if he goes to Iowa or something, or Penn State, and there's just these pictures of him wearing Michigan stuff, like, out there, yeah, it's true.
Tell me about a kid that
I mean,
went to Ohio State on a visit and ended up going to Michigan. If I was the Ohio State fans, I would blast it right before they played.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Kyle?
I don't see the big deal in it. I mean, what you're talking about, Willie, right there, football and basketball players that literally do that all the time. They go and put LSU stuff on, then commit to Alabama. And I don't know, it's just not that big of a deal. It's like testing out a car.
Yeah.
Do they put this shirt on? It's not test driving a car. It's totally different.
No,
it's identical.
Yeah, you're just like testing it out.
There's-
You
feels
don't
like.
have to test out a singlet. You know how the freaking singlet feels.
No, it's
No, you want to see yourself
You have no
in
idea.
it. You want to see
Let
yourself
me ask you
in
this, too. Do they put on all the pads? They do it?
No, usually you just put on
Right. They put on a
jersey.
shirt. There's a
No,
lot
they put on-
different than putting on a shirt than getting down to your underwear and putting on a damn singlet.
All right, I'll show you the picture of Kelly Bryant in the full Arkansas uniform, wearing a helmet, shoulder pads, pants, everything.
Yeah. Stupid.
It's not
Kelly
stupid.
Bryant.
How do you?
Everyone's gonna go to.
You're like, I'm not an old man. I'm not an old man.
You're an old man.
Yeah, you're
You were
literally an
literally-
old man. Why is it a bad trend?
You were yelling at clouds.
Why is it a
as
bad
we
trend?
speak.
You act like it's ruining the sport of wrestling.
To me, it's a bad trend. Okay,
Why?
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what for sure. There's been kids out there that have gone on trips, and I've seen pictures. Has nothing to do with Robbie Howard. I've seen kids that have gone on trips, and I knew damn well, and they knew damn well they weren't going to that school.
Yeah. They want to get all their trips in. They want to do all their...
Why would you?
Because that's what they want to do. They have 5 trips. They want to do
I
it.
know that I'm going to Notre Dame. I'm going to go put on a singlet for Georgia? No, I ain't doing that.
Okay.
Right.
If you are ever recruited, you can choose to not do that.
Yep. If you open up your recruiting process, Willie, you can do it the right way.
I'll
Still
tell
have
you
not
right
yet
now,
said why this is a bad trend.
I would never wear a Miller Lite jersey.
Wow. He is faithful. Okay. So that we kind of got a little derailed there, but we were going to talk about that at some point. A lot of questions coming in from the internet about why I have a mug with a man's head on it. So Efren Salinas, our video guy, helps out in the studio a lot. He said that the paper cups we used are not professional. Okay, so I had this mug. This is Efren, and this says professional. So
He's going to be mad at you again.
It doesn't take much. That's a pretty low threshold there to get Efren mad at me. So he
This
may
is
be
like
mad.
the 18th time that you referred to him as, like, don't call him video guy. He likes his title out
I don't
there.
know anyone's title. I don't know Ray's title. I forget. I say the wrong title for my boss every single time I try to do it. So it means nothing. I just don't remember anyone's title. I don't know yours. Barely know mine. Kyle's. Who knows? Doesn't
Let's
matter.
talk about wrestling.
Let's talk. Studio Grand Wizard, says Caleb in the back. That's his name. All right. Iowa Princeton wrestled on Friday. That was exciting. We got to watch it because we weren't doing Lehigh-Michigan. And, okay, everyone was very impressed with Patrick Glory getting tech fouled for some reason.
I don't get that either.
I don't either. I'm like, what because he got a reversal? I'm like, listen, this show is uniformly behind Pat Glory, and pretty much we all think he's going to do great this year and place. But I received like maybe 10 tweets like, have you ever been more impressed with someone in a tech fall victory?
Someone asked that. I don't get it.
I'm like, no. I mean, no. If he had got tech, now the most impressed I've ever been with a tech fall loss was Jackson Morse against David Taylor, where he took him down like 4 times, maybe more, and then got teched. That was impressive. I mean, it's not that I'm not impressed with Patrick Glory. I just don't know what it was about this performance that got people so excited.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll be honest. I thought that he looked pretty tough too.
I don't get.
He was down 6-0, 12
I
seconds
know.
into the match. I don't understand.
I don't get it. He
One
was
bit.
immediately taken down, put on his back. He was turned in the with the tilt multiple times. It was 16-2. He teched him in the second period.
He got a reversal. That's great. I don't understand.
He did
it
ride
either.
him out. I mean, it's fine. There's no one's taking anything away from Pat Glory. But I was like, man, tell you what, you know who was eye-opening this weekend? Patrick Glory.
Patrick Glory, revelation. How'd he do? It's tech ball, second period.
He got teched. All right, well, sure. But it was in the no. Sorry, guys. I'm not with that one. I'm with you on a lot. This is a pro Patrick Glory podcast. Let it not be said otherwise. But that wasn't the match for me. I'm looking more at the matches he won, like when he teched Gavin Teasdale. That for me, but different strokes. We all have different methods for evaluation.
That's a standard of Spencer Lee.
What-
Yeah. The kid didn't even get teched in the first.
Dang.
Title
Finalist contender. So 33 DeSantos smashed. I mean, Iowa, a lot of bonus points. Max Murin, to me, is one of the biggest. And I know he hasn't wrestled anybody. It's kind of like Kassar last week against Kent State. It's just like, I just watched it and I thought, wow, this looks right. And Max Murin looks like a real point scorer at 141. And we're seeing, 41 has some really, really nice high-level talent between Yanni and Ironman and Nick Lee. But, man, you're looking at Chad Red's faltering. And, Matt Finley's been kind of a revelation. But, Sedarian Perry's ranked. There is going to be opportunities for him to beat guys. Like, he's going to be in that match with Cade Brock. He's going to be in that match with probably Mitch McKee and the Michael Carr. I didn't think this coming into this year. I think Max Murin has top 5 potential. And I did not really think that. And I could be basing it on not the right information or not enough information. But that's just where I'm at with it right now. I think he looks great.
Well, don't you think, like, going off of folk results last year, or college in-season results last year, I thought he was good.
He was solid. Yeah, definitely.
He was solid, right? But then the U.S. Open results coupled with the early season results this year, I think he, made significant gains.
I do, too. And we've seen this with Iowa guys before. If you look at a lot of them will have kind of like pedestrian redshirt years, and this is kind of going back, but no real marquee wins. Corey Clark was kind of the one guy that just had an amazing redshirt year. He beat Delgado and had some Tyler Cox and some other really good guys. But a lot of times they're just kind of like they do fine, but they're clearly not optimized. And then the next year, they're gangbusters. And Murin had a solid one last year. Now I think he's really emerged. And a year ago, they were flirting with the idea of wrestling him, and he didn't do amazing at Midlands. He still did fine, but they were considering wrestling him right away, which says a lot about Iowa's faith in him. And now a year later, he looks really strong for the weight. He's getting a lot of attacks off. I think you have to be excited.
Yep.
So that was that. And then at 49, this was the marquee match, and Kolodzic looked like the better guy all the way. For all the momentum, there are a lot of people that get excited about momentum and stuff, and why I kind of always, not that I don't think it exists, it's just like it gets overstated. If there's ever a case for momentum, it's Iowa comes out, tech at 25, pin at 33, pin at 41, you're in Carver Hawkeye, Pat Lugo has 2 wins over Matt Kolodzic, and what? Where's the no momentum? Yeah. Just loses because he's not just the better guys win. That's what happens. It's not momentum. The better guys win. Kolodzic appears right now to be better than Lugo. Lugo lost last week to Rolfing. He's not as good as Matt Kolodzic right now. And I don't think it's time to worry if you're an Iowa fan with Lugo, but maybe it is time to temper expectations. That this guy might not be a title contender, but even still, it's not a lot. He has his hands locked on I think a match-tying single leg late in the third. And if he finishes, who knows what happens. And he didn't finish. And so he's right there. So nothing to get – I'm not especially excited if I'm an Iowa fan right now about Lugo, but I'm not I'm not super worried either. It looked like he cut his weight better. He certainly had 7 minutes of energy. He didn't look as strong as Kolodzik, I felt.
Well, he has a lot. He's not very, I guess, dynamic, right? And so at the composition of 149, I'm like, in any given match, he can beat almost every guy at 49, but to do it consecutively, he wrestles a lot of close matches, so I don't know.
Well, he's really, I mean, his best position's from his underhook. If guys are taking that away, he's going to be having a hard time scoring points from his feet. So, and that's true for most guys. They have a position where they're really strong, but his position is especially, tight. So,
what about the back half? I mean, I was looking really good early, and they're still without 3 starters. I doubt we see them this week against Purdue, right?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't understand this Warner thing. I mean, he's resting from Junior Worlds in September.
I bet Warner goes this weekend.
What's
you
up?
think Warner goes this weekend?
Yeah, because Christian Brunner's not going to be back in the lineup after just wrestling at U23s probably.
Oh, so you think he's stuck in the tough position?
No, I didn't say that.
No, apparently Ironside, and I only know this from reading the Hawkeye message board, cesspool, they call themselves. Ironside said on a radio show that he had a weird accident. So
I don't know what that means. But yeah, Coach Brand's, I'm just referring back to what Coach Brand said headed into the Kent State match. Yeah, the media day, he was like, yeah, he's going to miss this, still recover Junior Worlds or whatever. So I don't know when we'll see Jacob Warner. I think he's healthy-ish, but I don't know. We'll see him eventually, and he'll be pretty dang good, I would imagine. 57, Caleb Young continues to look really good. I mean, he's powerful at the weight, but Quincy Monday looked like he could be a thing as well. You want to talk about getting excited about? You want to get excited about a Princeton guy in a loss? That was a guy I got pretty excited. You saw those first 2 takedowns, and he got carvered a little bit. He got pressured into taking some bad shots. That man, Caleb and Iowa is just so good at running behind. I mean, I don't know how uniformly one team can be so good at go behinds, but man, if there's one thing that these guys can do, they can run around bad shots like no other team. So that's what got Quincy against Caleb Young, and I think both those guys have real potential at this weight.
I thought Quincy looked great, other than I thought there was a very obvious line of demarcation where, like, he hit a wall.
Yep. But I think he's going to be good, and come March, he's going to be like his brother, someone that no one's going to want to hit. And those two, it's interesting. UNC and Princeton duel, so those two are going to wrestle each other theoretically. Curious. All right, what else?
North Carolina and Princeton?
Mm-hmm. So that'll be cool. Marinelli's looking like a boss right now. 84 Cash Wilkie's looking good as well. So Hawkeye's looking good early. They haven't been super tested yet, but they're passing the test at this point. Want to talk about a little Keystone action, specifically Penn State?
Yeah, well, the major news there is the 2 sort of quasi-wrestle-offs, right?
Yeah, so at 149, you've got Berge. And I thought it was interesting that they kind of made it so, and I'm sure this was it doesn't make sense to seed like Kassar and Neville's on the same side unless you ask for it. They clearly should have been opposite. So they made it so that they would hit in the semis a little earlier, which is cool. So Berge and Verclaren, their semi was, for the most part, pretty boring, but just had a really crazy finish. Initially, they're in a little scramble. Berge looked to tweak his knee or something and had to give up choice, so Verclaren gets away 1-0 at the end of the first. And then second period, they trade escapes, so really nothing happened other than the guys got away. And Berge had a couple opportunities to get in. He got in on a single, locked a cradle, and Verclaren kind of like sat through a la Vincenzo Joseph, Michael Kemmer, if you remember that state final in PA. So he didn't score there. Then he gets in on another single leg. Verclaren, who's really good at dive rolls, dives underneath and gives up the danger takedown. But the ref waited forever to start his count, despite the fact that Verclaren was in danger, probably more so. And I'm noticing a little bit. They're a little like they're still not quite. It's not in their mind to remember to immediately go to that count. It's not happening as quick as I think it should. And I noticed it in other matches. So the ref goes like hyper speed for the 3 count, like because the match is running out. There's very short time remaining. So he's like 1, 2, 3, about that fast, and gives up the 2 for Berge to ultimately take the match. And I think if you're measuring skills, I think the better guy did win, but clearly they're very close.
Yeah. What do you make from it, Christian? If Berge's going to be good, right?
Yeah.
But his cut is a thing.
Yeah.
He may be a little dinged up. I'll come out and say this. What if Penn State doesn't get a whole lot of points at 49?
So I was thinking about that, and their 25 situation. I was like, okay, so they're only awesome at 8 weights. Okay, all right, well, they're fine. I mean, think about it last year. I'm starting to come around to Nomad's thing. They weren't good at 25 or 33 last year, right? And they placed at the other 8. Is that right? Okay, so
7, I think.
So they placed at 41. Zane won. Nolf won. Chinzo won. Mark was second. Bo won. Shakur placed, and Neville's placed. So they had 8 All-Americans.
25 and 33.
So it was just 25 and 33 last year. So they're going to be just as good. I mean, they lose Zane, and that crushes, right? But they're going to be elite at 8 weights. They're going to have title contenders at 4 anyways. But 5, really, with Kassar, and who knows if
Kassar's ranked second right now.
Kassar's ranked second right now, behind Stoll. And, obviously we know Gable's probably the favorite right now, and I believe that, but still, he's a finalist contender, no doubt. And then, who knows with Rashid? Rashid at 84. 84 is not great, so he could be a finalist. So they have 6 potential finalists. I'm starting to come. I just don't. It's going to be tough to overcome. And if they get 0 points at 25 and 49, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. And also, there's potential. Like, you knew you weren't getting points at 25 from Carson Kuhn last year. You knew 33. I can't remember who the 33 was last year. But
Carpenter?
Carpenter. You just knew you weren't getting points there. There's a possibility you get points with Brady Berge. You never know. There's a possibility if they go with one of the 25 freshmen that you're going to get points. So, man, they're not going to be better just because they're not replacing Zane's points, I don't think. But so you combine that, the fact that they're going to be elite at 8 weights, and they won last year, and they're basically comparable. And you look at, there's no Ohio State from 2018 Ohio State team. It's Iowa, which has a really good team, and Oklahoma State. Unless Oklahoma State's good, become elite, and they enter that title contending realm, and they have a lot of those types of dudes, I don't see it.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I view it. So I think it doesn't matter. And man, Kassar, and we have Kassar ahead of Gable right now. And I think coming into the weekend, we thought Kassar title finalist contender, probably not title contender because Gable. I think beating up he was more impressive against Neville's than Gable was against White, in my opinion. I mean, getting 3 takedowns like that compared to basically a 1-move match.
Gable just shut down.
Gable completely shut down. And Kassar didn't. Now, I'll say this. What Nick Neville's was that? I don't know if that was the best Nick Neville's. There's a lot of talks about his dealing with an injury if he's not at his best. But for what it's worth, he was kind of crushing up to that point. So I think that's a legit win for him. And
also, someone pointed out on Facebook, 33 last year was Keener, remember?
Oh, yeah, Keener. That's right.
He qualified, I think, 1 and 2.
Yeah. Right, so you knew not going to get much there. Let's upgrade over Carpenter for sure, though. So, yeah, go ahead, Willie.
No, I was just going to say, they're going to be fine. I kind of asked it I knew they're going to be fine without the, even if they have uncertainty at a couple weights, the title picture doesn't look much different because there's not a team like Ohio State was built last year. I don't think.
No, I don't either.
The two teams or three teams, it's probably Ohio State this year, Okie State, who's looked good but probably doesn't have that scoring potential, and Iowa, which doesn't look like it has enough finalists to match that. And then, I said to lead the show, I said it was kind of a weird week. Lehigh gets canceled, and then the match that wasn't.
Yeah, so Seth Gross.
No Seth Gross.
Yep, disappointing. Seth Gross, Daton Fix were supposed to wrestle. Gross dealing with a back injury, was unable to compete, and big bummer for wrestling fans as this was the match we were so excited for. And I'm even more excited for it now after seeing what Daton did to Lezak. An impressive win there. And I don't know what to discuss about the Gross Fix match that it didn't happen other than what does this mean for Seth moving forward? And I don't know.
Well, I wanted to make the point that there were some people saying it's bad for the sport and this and that, and everybody was settling into their couch with their pizza and their Budweiser, and they wanted to watch the match, and it didn't happen. Well, while it's deflating a little bit, Seth isn't dodging, right? Number one, let's get that out of the way. And number two, he's going to be out for a while, unfortunately. So it's not just this match.
Yeah, it's too bad. And, back stuff, that's, if it's an ankle, you're like, okay, a couple weeks and he'll be fine. But you never know when a back is going to reflect. I mean, he's been dealing with it since high school, right? Therefore, it's certainly not going to be cleared up and done with for the rest of his life, but just because he's out till December. So, yeah, and what does that mean for 33? You've got guys like Soriano and Fix now there, and Micic is only getting better. It's going to be really tough for Gross to repeat this year. I mean, we knew it was going to be tougher than last year already, and now with Soriano and Fix looking outstanding and Micic being who he is, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, I mean, my question is, no injury, wrestling a full season, it would be tough, but I would take Gross because he's just a tough nut to crack, and he's skilled in all positions, and he's been there before. That being said, with the depth of the field and the elite talent that's at that weight, coupled with the fact that he might be rusty or he might not be getting all the reps, now it does throw some intrigue in there.
Yeah, it really does. So let's talk. Let's fast forward a little to Daton Lezak match. Probably the second most anticipated match of the weekend. The most being the one that didn't happen in Gross Fix. So Daton comes out, and this is something we've seen before with Daton. Is his forward pressure makes guys look like they are stalling like crazy. I remember in the Gomez who's number one match. I mean, Austin's a pretty forward guy. He's just getting moved all over the place. And so Daton's really good at controlling the center, and he's got to be freaky strong the way guys are just getting bullied around out there. So one, he wrestles with great position, but his pace is out of this world. And here's what I'm curious to see. That pace is going to affect Ethan Lezak negatively. This. Everyone knows this. Okay. So to see Lezak fade, not surprising. We said this coming into the year. Oh, wow, he's going up a weight. He's still going to gas. We said that on the show. It's like it's not just a weight thing, right? So he gasses. Now I want to see what happens when he puts that pace on against a Micic, a Tariq Wilson, a Gross, a Soriano. Then how does that impact guys? Because if it's impactful against those dudes, it could be lights out. It's just his weight now. But yeah. I think other guys are going to be able to withstand it a little bit better. So Daton looked outstanding, and I think what we're going to learn more and more now is he might be one of the best scramblers in the game. He can scramble. I mean, I won't say he out-scrambled Lezak, but Lezak got in, and, well, honestly, I will say that he did, because that kind of brings me to my next point, which was Daton ended up completely behind Ethan after like a 1.5-minute long scramble, right? This was from the scramble, wasn't it, Kyle? Okay, so he ends up completely behind him, behind the arms, behind his hips. Lezak still has the foot, like kind of here, right? And for that reason, they don't give the 2. So I'm watching that. I'm like, man, that feels like that should be a takedown, right? So maybe it should. I don't think letter of the law it is. But I don't subscribe to the idea that, well, if I have this lower appendage, then I'm not taken down. I just don't believe that. But then at the same time, I'm like, well, if Daton so surely had control, then why would he not be able to improve his position and get to a breakdown and transition to a turn or anything like that? I don't know. So it's a weird position, one that I think they should at least discuss moving forward as a potential takedown scenario.
I think it should be too. He's around behind. He's behind the arms. He has more control than half of these danger zone calls. Lezak literally can't move.
True.
And I know
it's a tricky situation.
it is because Daton can't really
because
move.
it's so tricky.
Yeah, and I know Daton can't really move from it either, but he's all the way around behind. I don't know. It's weird, but when you look at it, you're just like, okay, that's a takedown.
Yeah, I was actually surprised they didn't throw up the 2. You see it sometimes though in folk style, only in folk style. Like, all right, that's 2, and then they let it play out, and then the other guy ends up on the leg, and it's not necessarily that situation, but you see it like where your kind of gut is 2, and then the guy comes out and you're like, wow, I'm kind of glad they didn't call 2 there because this would be a really screwy situation.
Also,
I saw it in another match this weekend. I can't think of it. If I think of it, I'll let you know.
All right.
Minnesota not having video review is a little head scratching.
I didn't understand that was the case.
Yeah, that's like, you saw Daton like immediately saying like, hey, throw the brick. And then Espo and John were losing their minds. Yeah, Minnesota doesn't have video review.
What?
They don't have video review. That was the issue.
Is that like strategery or just like, we forgot the video review guy?
They don't have video. They have huge giant scoreboards on the screen. I'll tell you that.
They do. If you ever want to know the score, you're not going to miss it there. That's kind of their brand, though. Minnesota always has the giant scoreboards on their streams. It's fine. So yeah,
for the elderly up there.
For the elderly, perhaps. Okay, so that was that match. I mean, there's a lot of talk about the near fall that some people think it should have been for Lezak or not. Maybe. Remember, the rule is he has to be within 4 inches of the mat, too. So it's not just 45 degrees, because certainly Daton was within that. But was he...
You need the Knights Templar. You need a Masonic protractor.
Yes.
Get out the 4.
Yeah, so it was a tough call, but was he within near fall criteria for 2 seconds with 4 inches? I don't know, maybe not. It doesn't really change anything for me, other than the interesting wrinkle would have been this, because I think Daton wins that match if they give near fall or not. But what happens if they don't give near fall in the initial and he gets that reversal? They challenge it, they look at it and they say, okay, that was near fall. Then Daton goes back underneath, right? There's no that reversal just doesn't happen. It's like the Bo Jordan Mark Hall thing from NCAA final. So that would have made it interesting, because you give. First of all, it's a 2 to 3 minute.
Think about that.
It's a 2 to 3 minute review process. They look at it. Lezak gets a little water. He's just got to gas
his
up.
lungs back.
Yeah, that would have made it really interesting. And that's not really.
Yeah, that's why I don't get down with the whole dead time thing. Like everything after the review goes back in time.
Well, I think it should, because It's not a good reality when what I just described could happen, but you can't. The calls dictate action, right? The calls dictate how you would. So you can't just say, well, I would have wrestled differently if I knew I had 2. I wouldn't have bailed. Lezak could say I wouldn't have bailed, or I don't know. There's a lot of things.
I know. Yeah, right. You're right. There are situations where it's different, but it's kind of erasing reality where Lezak was kind of. he might have had near fall, but was out of position. I mean, the Jack Wheeler thing a couple years ago was the ACC final or something, or ACC semi.
I don't recall.
Oh, yeah. Something weird happened against Falls, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There was some
it was a
dead
semi,
time.
I think.
It's like, come on, you're ignoring reality. What about thoughts on Boo's injury and G Feller? G Feller then going and beating Thorne?
Well, not surprising. I would have picked Gefeller in that matchup going into it. Not surprised at all he beat Tommy Thorne, who has just not really been himself in a couple of years, it seems like.
Classic Oklahoma State with a top 10 guy on the bench.
Classic. So Gefeller, I don't even know why he's like holding 141. For what reason? First of all, he was like legitimately bigger than Tommy Thorne, and it would seem his opportunity to start is going to be more likely at 149 than 141. I just don't see him circumventing Cade, but I can see, and now with this injury, maybe he takes advantage of the opportunity and he can cement himself as the guy there at 149. I think, this is Oklahoma State's depth issues kind of working themselves out, at least for a little bit. I don't know ultimately how injured Bulu Allen is, how long he's going to be out, but an injury like that to your arm, it's going to limit how much he's able to do and train, and it's an opportunity for Caden to get in the lineup. And I guess Boo is the better guy, and that seems to be the chatter coming out of the room is that Boo is just head and shoulders better than the Gefeller and maybe even Cade. He's just like the man in the room. He just does well against these guys. But to me, I just don't see it as a huge drop off from Boo to Cade in terms of ability and who those guys can beat.
Yeah, I don't either. Love Boo, but I think they're about. I don't know. I think they're about even when I think of them about in the field of what's there.
Caden is really good on top. That's his differentiator. I think Boo certainly has better leg attack variety and offense. So, yeah, they're going to be good there. What else with this? Cade McKee Classic. McKee gets his first dub in folk style over Cade Brock. Yes, a lot of people asking, can this match happen every week? We're looking into it. We're seeing what we can do because we feel like they should just wrestle all the time because it's fire. It's just like they just throw. I don't know what it is about their combination, but the first 30 seconds was preposterous. Cade did some far leg Peterson rolls across their back. They're both on their backs for the majority of the match. Then he looks for a headlock. It was just a crazy start. They shouldn't be allowed to wrestle top and bottom either. Just
forget that.
30 seconds. I think they should just have their own division, their own rule set that we craft here, where you get 30 seconds on top, then you're going back up on your feet because that's what we're paying to see. Okay, that's the whole point of this. We want to see you do crazy stuff. We want to see Mitch McKee do head pinches for 4, but it's 0 points in folk style just because he has a really good head pinch. I want all of that.
I don't want it to be freestyle because Mitch just dominates freestyle somehow.
Yeah, because head pinch. He has literally maybe one of the best head pinches in the world. It's that good. Okay, so what other stuff from this match?
Bly's, that was a crazy ending.
I know, it was nuts. Shomers was just living on the legs the whole time, just kind of hanging there. And then
just picked him up and slammed
the power of Thor just picks him up, puts him down, almost had the pinfall, but didn't quite get it. So yeah, Bly's kind of seemed like he was done. He's wearing a club. There was a lot of adversity there, but he got his hand raised. That was a cool one. So Chandler's down at 65. Jacoby continuing to look great. Dakota Gear
looks good.
Yeah, so a lot of Joe Smith questions, and I don't know the answers to them. I heard he's going to be back at 74 next week. Does that mean he's just circumventing Jacoby Smith? Listen, I haven't seen Joseph in a while. Right? I don't know how if he's true freshman Joseph Smith or somewhere in between. I think it's gonna be tough for him to get by Jacoby Smith. I don't know.
If he's beating Jacoby or Gear out or anybody in that lineup to get the spot, then he has to be pretty decent. But I don't know. There's not really any data on him. He didn't even see him that much last year. Now he's up a couple weights, so I don't know how to make any assessment.
Yeah.
Scuffle's probably going to be big for that.
Oh, yeah, Scuffle. All right, so we'll probably learn more then. But yeah, Oklahoma State, they look solid. Minnesota looked fine too.
They look pretty good. They usually start off sluggish. Last year they what a weird year last year. They never kind of got on track.
It was strange. Never seen a year like that for Oklahoma State. But
no, so they had a weird year. Starting off okay this year. Nebraska's starting off a little shaky this year. So there was some.
Hold on, we need to not move on from the fact that Gable Steveson wrestled.
Oh yeah.
So find out last week. Hey, it's happening. Gable's coming out of red shirt. It's going to happen against Derek White. He's ready to go. We're doing this thing. So we're fired up for it. Big test. How's he going to do? And he did awesome. Oh, snap. We've got some pretty interesting news here.
What's happening?
Sorry to interrupt myself. Gavin Teasdale is no longer on the Penn State roster. So that's...
I literally just checked that before the show, and he was on there.
I did too. Because someone tweeted at me this morning, thoughts on Gavin, so I immediately went to the roster. He was still on there. This happened literally within the hour.
Yeah,
because I
shout
checked this
out
morning.
Brian Coder on Facebook. He put it on Facebook, and I checked, and he is no longer there.
And no other freshmen are on there. Teskey's on there?
Teskey's on there.
Okay, so we kind of loosely, and I'm sorry that we sort of loosely alluded to something last week about it without really, but you don't want to put anything out there where you're not sure, and so we weren't definitive. But yeah, the reasons why, I don't have the facts, so I'm not going to get into it, but we heard that wasn't going well. And so hopefully Gavin turns up somewhere else and makes it happen. But yeah, very interesting that Gavin's on there. So now the spotlight firmly placed on
Teskey.
On Teskey. But at the same time, I don't know that they have to. I think at this point, if Gavin's gone and he's no longer on the Penn State team, why wrestle? Why should you wrestle Brody now? Tell me why.
Yeah.
There's no logjam. It's Brody, right? And you have the team that can win this year without Brody.
Without him, yeah.
So unless if Teskey comes out and he wins the scuffle and he's amazing and it's all this greatness, okay, fine, sure, wrestle him. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think anyone thinks that's going to happen. So for that reason, I don't think, and it's so funny because we're like, man, with Buziello and Gavin and all these guys, well, Buziello's not coming. Gavin's gone.
Buziello, I was told yesterday, certified the lowest weight he can wrestle. I'm told, I don't know if it's true, 138 pounds.
That's what I heard too.
Hey, we have a tweet from Teasdale. I have left Penn State this fall semester for health issues. I will be returning to Penn State University this January at full capacity.
Okay. All right. So he's coming back.
So he's going back.
There you go.
Or staying.
Well, then, all right. They got to wrestle Gavin or Brody now. I don't know what this means. What a mess. I don't know. I don't know
what did he wrestle at Scuffle?
Well, that's January.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. As the world turns here.
I mean, he could just enter Scuffle, right? It's an open.
Yes.
Or do teams have to be invited and then they can put as many as they want in?
I think it's one of those.
Okay.
TJ Williams can't enter or anything like that. All right. Actually, be Joe
Gable.
Williams. Gable. Sorry. I had a Gavin interruption.
That's breaking news.
That is breaking. We had to address that. So Gable comes out. The thing with him, he's going to be so... I don't know how they're going to take this dude down. Like, he's going to get his, and he wasn't really pulling the trigger. He kind of pulled... I thought he could have had 2 to 3 more re-attack go-behind things off of Derek White's shots. He just didn't seem interested in it, which is curious. But, I mean, he got that first 6, and he said, all right, that's it. There's, like, literally no way I can lose at that point. If Gable Steveson has that kind of a lead, it's just not happening, right?
First college match. I don't think he wanted to try to risk anything. I think we'll see him continue to be more offensive as the year goes on. He feels more comfortable. Yeah,
still just a true freshman. He's getting measured against some... pretty unreal standards. But he looked good. I thought Kassar looked good. I think those are the 2 best guys at the weight. And it'll ultimately be them in the Big Ten and NCAA finals. We'll see about Stoll. We haven't seen Stoll yet this year. But with Hall out of the mix and Desi's not coming back, it's tough to see.
Who that hasn't wrestled yet is the person you want to see wrestle most.
Who would
For
be?
me, it's Kemmer. New
Yeah.
weight and everything, and I know he's not 100%, but I just want to see how he fits in the weight.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I would be curious to see him. All right. So that was Penn State. Pretty solid weekend for them. They were mopping up, obviously. at
Some
Keystone.
some other notes. Vito went 133 for Cornell, and Tucker went 41. But I heard, Chris, I don't know if you heard this. You hear they're trying to move Vito down to 25.
I haven't heard anything. It would seem like they would have to be doing that if it's possible. If he didn't certify there, then that hand is played for them. But
We heard something about that a long time ago.
well, yeah, we were here
Yeah.
like in the spring.
Yeah. But we hadn't heard anything since.
Yeah,
What else? Matt Finley looks pretty good.
dude, he's legit. Utah Valley.
Undefeated. Matt Finley.
Undefeated Matt Finley. He's beaten Chad Redd. He beat Tristan Moran. He's got some dubs. And, we liked him. Utah Valley's wrestling as many matches as possible. I don't know how they wrestled. Who did they? They wrestled Clarion and Wisconsin this week somehow.
They wrestled Northern Illinois Clarion Harper College on Saturday, and then Sunday Wisconsin.
Their travel budget must be out of control. But yeah, Utah Valley continuing to do a really nice job. Of course, the Heart Attack kids in Wisconsin, they've had 3 duels. Is it 3? The Nebraska one comes down to a pin by Christensen with 1 second left. Thor, a.k.a. Trent Hilger, has to come back from down 6-0 apparently and gets a late
the
takedown.
Wisconsin-
In overtime.
In
It was takedown
overtime.
In overtime.
The Wisconsin-Nebraska match, the final bout was, 41?
Cole Martin, I think.
Yeah, and the announcers, I don't know, it was tied. If the Nebraska guy won, they tied it, and they did tie it, but they still lost on criteria. The crowd was sort of going nuts because they thought they won the duel, but they didn't.
Well, wait. I thought Cole Martin won the last match.
Martin did not win.
Okay. I was confused. So, who else did they wrestle? I thought they had another match this weekend. But regardless,
Princeton came down to heavyweight, I think, too.
yeah, Princeton. It was
But
Princeton.
Hilger just got attacked, so they won kind of. Well, that one wasn't as dramatic.
Right. You just knew.
He dropped they call him Thor,
Dude,
and
they love him.
He acted like he summons his hammer and slammed it. That was awesome.
It's pretty cool. Man, the atmosphere of Wisconsin, like
It was
immediately is
crazy,
awesome.
yeah.
They were going nuts there. It's so awesome.
I can't believe they did it within a semester. They did it within like a week.
Yeah.
There used to be nobody at their duels. Now they're coming. They're like Kiss is playing.
And they love Trent Hilger there. They love him. Okay, so fun stuff. We should
Some odds and ends.
have some questions from friends.
Venturi Bridges lost. Who did we lose to?
Smelling.
How do you pronounce it, Willie?
Yeah, Smogeling.
You're the
Uh,
name pronouncer whisperer.
Snyder says Shyamalan.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Nope, that's wrong.
He says Shyamalan.
I'm not calling him
Right,
that.
hey.
Not even
calling
for
him that?
not even for the fire.
Who else?
It's smelling.
Oh, I have another question for you.
No rankings questions at this time. I died yesterday and haven't been able to review them. But you can ask.
Okay.
But I won't
No,
answer.
there's not. Well, yeah, I can ask this one. It's hypothetical.
Okay.
I have 2 questions for you. Where's Billy Miller?
He's injured and recovering, and he'll be back second semester.
Second question.
I think second semester. He'll be back.
Pantelio lost to Luan and didn't drop. Why is that?
Because do we know what a loss to Will Luan means?
I don't know. Did Gunther drop? Gunther lost to.
Do we
Nelson
know
Brands.
do we know what a loss to Nelson Brands means? Why would we drop someone we don't even know what it means to lose to that guy? Just because they're a true freshman? If Nelson had a bunch of bad losses and was kind of like stinky, it'd be like, all right, let's drop him. And also, like with Pantelio, if you look at 57, I mean, Who's right behind him? Berger, who he's like 26-0 against lifetime, and then Keyshawn Hayes. I just don't know why we hit him for a loss to. And I'm not even saying it's not a teammate thing. It's why.
Yeah, no, it's not a teammate thing because Gunther
is not
and
on.
Nelson aren't on the same team.
That was a roommate thing because they were both at
yeah.
Iowa. Just kidding. They're not roommates. So yeah, that's why. You could say, hey, Will Lewan lost to Elijah Cleary. You should punish him for that. That means, but I don't know. Then I would have to like retroactively because he beat Lewan, or he lost to Lewan in week 1, and then Lewan the next week lost to Elijah.
I know. I'm partially. I come into the question with I think Pantaleo should drop. I think that Gunther should drop. But also genuinely asking you the question because I think this is something you probably. I've never done college ranking. It's something you probably run into every year. You can say, "Oh well, we don't know what a loss to Luan means. We don't know, what does a loss to Nelson Brand mean." Don't you run into that every single year in the beginning of the season with a guy losing to a freshman?
I mean, probably it happens frequently, but to me, it's just a question of resume comparison. Why would Tyler? It's not about dropping Pantaleo. It's why would Tyler Berger pass Pantaleo now?
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of why.
Well, how about there's nobody behind Gunther that should bump him up? I don't know.
Gunther's.
I guess I'm just asking. Generally,
isn't Nelson Brands undefeated?
Yeah.
So what is it? Why would I drop him? If Nelson Brands,
well,
hey, if Nelson Brands was wrestling this year, he would be ranked ahead of Joey Gunther. So in your mind, you can say he did drop one spot, but he's not dropping because Alex Marinelli is the Iowa starter. So in your mind, just think of it like that. I mean, look, literally one spot behind Joey Gunther is Connor Flynn, who lost to Joey Gunther in week 1 this year.
Okay, right.
Connor Flynn beat Mekhi Lewis. Holy cow. Interesting. All right, questions from friends time. Yeah. But how about this? I'm so honored to ask this question. Brandon Paulson.
Brandon Paulson asked a couple of them.
I look up to that guy so much, and now he's asking FRL questions. This is amazing. When we talked a little about Joseph Smith, where does he fit? We think 174, coach. Is this the weakest heavyweight class in the next 5 years? Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Heavyweight is about to get nasty. You know what's interesting? Over at Michigan, they didn't quite rule out Mason Paris year 1 thing. I think they're kind of looking at the weight. They're like, man, let's see. And they'll probably continue to work with him and see how he develops. But, man, great shot, I think, of maybe we see him. But, yeah, this weight is about to explode with talent between, Kirk
Yeah, we said it.
Yeah.
We said it a couple years ago. The heavyweight talent that were coming out, there was a lull in it. There wasn't that many good heavyweights at all. And now you're seeing it right, the products of that right now in college. And then here come the young guns. Right, here comes the guys.
Think about
heavyweight's been great the last couple of years as far as recruiting.
These are all I consider these high-end, super elite talents, right? Gable Steveson, Daniel Kirkfleet, Colton Schultz, Mason Paris, Anthony Cassiope. That is
Cassiope is freaking awesome.
He's really good, guys. He's really, really good. If it came out, he might be beating Stoll in the room. Wouldn't surprise me. Obviously, you don't wrestle him this year, but I think a lot of him. And I don't know if there's other guys who could emerge there from that class, or who's going to still be hanging around. Cassaro will be gone. Hamida will be gone.
I'm not surprised.
Jordan Wood's a tough dude, but I think we'll see where he fits in with that group.
If Cassiope wins a title, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Would you be?
No. Considering the fields he's going to have to beat, I think so.
Yeah.
He's never been close to Gable before.
Has he been close to Gable? You're expecting him to make up a large gap there.
Yeah. I think if Cassiope ever gets one on, now I'm not saying that he's gonna eventually surpass Gable. But I'm saying that if Cassiope gets a couple from him, I ain't surprised.
Yeah, I think I would be. Well, maybe not, but I would be surprised. No, I
would be surprised.
I would be surprised.
Yes.
Gable is. Who did Mason Paris beat at the not Dapper Dan Dream Team last year? He beat someone soundly. That was good.
Whitman.
Oh, Whitman. Okay, I didn't realize Whitman was up that high. I guess 220. Okay. So that's that. Thanks, Coach Paulson, for that question. We are honored. Love the fight. What's up with heavyweight? I kind of mentioned this. Brian Payne wants to know about Billy Miller. Miller recovering from injury, but he will ultimately take the spot from Virginia's own John Borst. FRL Inquisitor. We already touched on this too. The Fix McKee or Fix Lezak takedown. Yes, I do think that should be a takedown. That position. All right. Willie is not allowed to answer. Oh yeah, this is the photo shoot. All right, we've addressed a lot of these questions. Favorite Thanksgiving dish? Asks the consummate professional Efren Salinas.
Video guy.
Favorite Thanksgiving dish? Well, I'll give you my plate. I'm not gonna give you a dish. I'm not gonna say, oh, turkey, because the whole point of Thanksgiving, well, not the whole point of it, but the point of a proper plate is how everything coalesces together, right? The combination of excellent makes it great, right? You need the turkey with the potatoes and gravy and green beans, and it's all just together, and you're just eating it all up like that. So that's what it is to me. I'm pretty basic. There are a couple of dessert items that I'm fond of, but for me, that's my plate.
I'll tell you, your mother's gravy.
Yeah.
Your mother's gravy. I wish it was my blood type. It is delicious.
So that is a big shout to and a rest in peace to my grandma, Margaret Piles, who, if you want to know Southern cooking, my grandma, oh my word. So yeah, she can make some gravy. And I'll pass along that gravy note. Would you pick Gable Kassar, both currently unranked, or the field for NCAA champ this year? That's very easy, Josh. We will pick Gable Kassar, right?
They're now ranked 2-3.
They're now ranked 2-3, which I don't know if it should be. I kind of think Gable should maybe be ranked ahead of.
It sort of makes sense to me.
It does. It doesn't to me, because if you're looking at this year, okay, you could say, all right, Kassar has a win over Colin Moore, which is tremendous. But if we're going back to last year, there's some blemishes there for Anthony, so you can't have it both ways. If you look at their heavyweight resume, one guy's beaten number 5 and number 3. He beat Neville's and Tanner Hall. So to me, Gable's
beat White and Tanner Hall.
Yeah.
White beat Neville's.
Exactly. Sorry, he beat White and Tanner Hall. Did Gable? So it's like 2 top 5 wins. I don't know. It should be maybe him.
Well, I think I wrote this. I forget where I wrote this. Twitter, I think. The highest ranked win is Kassar.
Yes.
And he beat Neville's, who is 2-1 career against Stoll.
True. This is true. But Stoll did place him at NCAA. So
It makes sense.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. Big Tens are going to be fun at heavyweight, boy. If Sean Foss, U23 world silver medalist, can make the 125 finals at NCAA, weigh in Saturday morning, go to Golden Corral, gain 25 pounds by Saturday night, and wrestle Spencer Lee with a 20-pound weight advantage, what odds would you give him? He will get tech-followed, probably. Mm-hmm. Even if he weighed 145 pounds.
Someone tweeted us yesterday and said Spencer would win NCAAs all the way up to 149.
I don't think so.
I don't either.
No.
He would have a shot at 33.
Although, if you say Spencer Lee versus Anthony Ashnault, I don't know, man.
Are you kidding me?
Dude, I kind of think he can...
Schnaulty! Get your man!
Get out of here.
Well, not just Schnaulty. I don't know, man. I'm not saying he would. I'm saying...
I don't think he wins 41.
Yeah, I think 41 would be tougher to win than 49. What? It's harder weight.
Shut up.
Well, then again, also, the hardest weight for him to win might be 33. Daton Suriano.
He wins it.
No.
Really?
33 33 is in the realm of possibility.
Yes,
30,
absolutely.
33,
I think.
yeah.
You think he just
41,
smashed?
he's
I'm not saying he
beating
smashes
Yanni.
everyone. He's not beating Yanni. I don't know if he beat Ironman.
Wow, this is interesting. I don't know, man. Okay.
Get out of here.
Wow, we are just like completely misaligned here. It's interesting, but yeah, a lot. I don't know why people have been coming at me about Foz a lot. People really love him. I just think they're like, oh, he was injured last year. Well, he's injured because he's not eating food. He's a grown man. He's not supposed to weigh 125 anymore. He's still down there. I don't want him. I wish nothing but good things for Sean. He's an ultimate team guy. They say he's a total pro about his weight, but the man is just big, and it's gonna be really tough for him.
We've seen people have success at these world tournaments and then not do anything at NCAAs.
That too. Like, Richie Lewis DNP'd last year. Mekhi Lewis just lost to Connor Flynn. So these things happen. Is there a more multi-talented wrestler than Jaden Cox? No. What's up with Isaiah White? I don't know. What's up with Nebraska? That's my question. What is going on?
Zeke Moisey lost to Cole Werner.
I ain't worried about it.
Zay's like 1-3.
Chad Red hasn't looked good.
Smelling is trying to stand up straight so he can get hands in the face points. Is that Brian Snyder's coaching? You need to call him and be like, Brian, I hope you had nothing to do with this.
You got to ask Brian that yourself.
You ask him. He's going to call you today. Just ask him.
I don't think that Nebraska would coach kids to do that.
I would. See, that would be my strategy. Like, guys, we're going to be a hands-to-the-face team.
Lead with your face?
Very face wrestler. Yes. Okay. The bigger challenge for Gable, Kassar or Stoll? Kassar. Brock Desert. Why does my wife get mad? I don't know, man. Probably something you did.
Why is his wife mad?
I don't know. Who you got right now? RBY or DeSanto?
RBY.
Woo, boy.
Who you got?
I don't know, man.
Good thing we won't see it until March.
Yeah. Thanks.
Just the way I wanted it.
Just the way I want it. I love it when my marquee matches don't get to happen. I'll say DeSanto. Probably not, though, right? Status of Connor Brown's injury. Yes. Sounds like just a sprain. He'll be all right. Maybe miss a little time, but nothing too super serious. Any other great questions here before we go? I have a thing at 9:30. So I can't. What?
Did you say that out loud? I got a thing to go. I gotta go.
No, it's not. It's a work thing. I have to do it.
We should talk about this.
Great question.
Ask it.
Chad Hankey.
Except, can we acknowledge that this guy's name is Matt Funk?
Yeah, he works for Defense Soap.
We'll get there in a second. Hang on. Chad Hankey, do you think the wrestling community will ever change to embrace the show from guys like Gable? Guys like J.O. and Ramos had some entertainment, but the old school thought from fans bashed it as cocky.
So,
people are already losing their mind over Gable Stevenson, and he wrestled one match.
As soon as the match ended, I was like, Gable's going to be the most hated dude in NCAA wrestling. I promise you. They are going to... He is not going to be popular. I think he likes it. What? Why are you laughing? He is going to be...
I'm laughing because Nomad predicted this, and that's why he'll never win the Hodge.
Well, I don't know about that.
That was literally Nomad's reason.
Yeah.
Gable will never win the Hodge because the fans don't like him.
Listen, he is not going to be popular.
There's already message boards about it on Iowa, I know.
Yeah, see, those are the get off my lawn guys, not me.
Whatever,
Willie,
dude.
you can still have get off my lawn takes.
No, okay, yes, that's true. Maybe it is.
Which your
maybe it is a get off.
single thing is.
Maybe it was a get off my lawn take. I admit that.
All right.
But I am not a get off my lawn guy. I don't make a habit of being a grumpy old man.
When's the last time you screamed at a cloud?
Screamed at a what?
Cloud. It's a meme. Sorry. I'll get you Twitter access later.
I have no problem with what Gable's doing.
I don't either.
I hope he continues to dance and continues to drive everybody crazy that's all up in arms about
We are very pro this. I don't think it's, I like the extra a little bit. Now, you do that stuff and you get it back, you can't get mad.
Right.
Right? So
yeah, that's how it works.
now the thing may be that no one else can do it back, and he just dances on people and smacks their head really hard and just wins the matches. And
someone was like, because White was in on his legs with like 5 seconds left, and Gable was like going like that to the crowd. And they're like, yeah, he could have just waited till the match ended. how many times I remember when Imar beat James Green, and he was putting his forearm on his head, just rubbing it in, just like smiling at the crowd.
Yeah.
And like Mark Hall, when he beat Bo Jordan last year, when he was on top,
he was
just yeah.
Who
cares? It's awesome.
Who cares?
It's awesome.
Act like you've been there before.
Classless.
Actually, Gable has been there before.
Yeah.
All right, that is a really good question. I did want to get to it, so I appreciate that. All right, Nate Clements, we have to talk about our man because he's back in full effect. Marsden. Okay, how excited is everyone at FloWrestling to have Marsden back in the lineup for the Cowboys? And is Splay to ride the most dangerous So you wonder why I haven't been talking about. I felt like we put a lot of pressure on Marsden last year, and I didn't want to do that to him. I just want him to go out and have his year. He's the most dynamic, exciting wrestler in college athletics, frankly. And I love everything about it, how he wrestles. He goes up. It's very baseline. Double overs, over-under body lock, and then near leg in spladle. It's just your fundamental wrestling, and that's why I like him. And I love that he went for the spladle, got it, and the guy gave it to him again, and then he pinned him with it. I love his he's dog on a bone. For whatever way he's trying to score, he tries to only score that way. And I love the focus.
I'll tell you could spend some time on FloWrestling site. You don't have to always look at the marquee matchups. You could just go in and type Marsden and go watch him for a good hour. It's pure entertainment.
It's pure entertainment all the way. He's just looking to pin you the entire time. He's like
remember that one show we called him Austin the entire time?
Don't bring that up. Don't bring that up. His name's Andrew Marsden, and he's a treasure. And
he's our man.
What's the pure gold one from the Scuffle?
Oh, it was like 18.
Bryce Barnes.
1815.
Bryce Barnes.
We ran it in July one time just for the heck of it.
We should run it again.
We did.
It's the best.
That's awesome.
It's the best worst match of all time. There is nothing. Does he win?
I think
he wins. Barnes is storming back, but I think he either splayed him or cradled him twice. Go look up that match. It's pretty much the best thing on FloWrestling forever. Okay, I do have to go.
He also once kept Jaden to a decision that helped him beat in Missouri's streak when they had won all those duels in a row.
Wait, what?
Do you have sensitivity?
Marsden held Jaden Cox to a decision one time in Stillwater, and it helped in Missouri's they had that 25 match dual winning streak.
That's right. I remember that. No, it's it's actually not training today. Okay. We gotta go. Man, this was fun. And I wish we could do this on Thanksgiving. I think that would be amazing. But I don't think anyone would want to produce our show on Thanksgiving Day. Caleb said, heck no.
No from producers, no.
No from producers. All right, so our dear friend Caleb, feel free to play us out. We are ready to go. We are so thankful for so many things. I'm thankful for ASICS and their support of wrestling.
What are you doing for Thanksgiving? You going over Piles?
No, a bunch of Olivia's family's here, so there's 9 of us in a 2-bedroom apartment.
Kyle's in-laws, allegedly.
70-pound golden retriever.
In-laws, actually not in-laws. Out of compliance with law. So this week, not a ton of wrestling going on because of the Thanksgiving holiday, although we will have the Oklahoma State-Wyoming duel. Montorie Bridges, Daton Fix should be
South
exciting.
Dakota State, Minnesota as well.
Oh, that's good stuff.
But then...
What? Oh, then CKLV next week and...
Shut it down.
It gets crazy.
Penn State, Bucknell, Iowa State.
All live on flowwrestling.edu. We are out. We got a lot of great content coming out on the site. Thanks so much to Efren for helping increase the professionalism of FloWrestling Radio Live. He's a pros pro. He's a capital J journalist, Baylor educated. What a legend. All right, we are out. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.